Are you ready to learn David Hite's Melodious and Progressive Etude number 10? You're in the right place. Let's do it. Welcome to Woodwind Ninja. My name's Jay. Today we're going to be going over Melodious and Progressive Etude number 10 in C sharp minor. C sharp minor, 4 sharps. As always, the sharps come in the same order. We see them right here. F sharp first, C sharp second, G sharp third, D sharp fourth. C sharp is what's called our relative minor to E major. The next thing we're going to do is go ahead and practice the scale. Our C sharp minor scale, we are going to practice the melodic version of it. For those of you that are just getting familiar with the melodic versus harmonic versus the natural or the pure minor form of the scale, melodic means we raise the 6th and 7th step on the way up, which creates a stepwise scale, including a leading tone, which is the note right before C sharp. So we're going to be creating a C natural right before that C sharp, so it flows very nicely into the tonic. And on the way down, it goes right back to our normal E major, the relative major, key signature. So on the way up, it's got a couple accidentals. On the way down, no accidentals. It's our friendly neighborhood E major scale. Great. So let's play it now. I'll put the scale here, or maybe here. I'm not sure. We'll decide that later. Let's play the scale now. We're going to do it in eighth notes. Let's do it together. We're going to start on C sharp and use this guide right here to tell us how high we should practice this scale today and how low we should practice this scale today, because these are the notes that are in this etude. So we're going to start on C sharp, this one right here. And we're going to play that scale up to high C sharp, down to low G sharp, back up to the C sharp that we started on. Let's do it. Here we go. I'll count us off. 1, 2, 3, and... One of the things I didn't do was get a good breath. Let that be a reminder to us all. Get a good, big breath. Even though we have a big breath, we don't have to use it all at once. But let's take a good breath, play that scale nice and full the whole time. I kind of petered out at the end. I'm going to do better. If you made the same mistake, you do better too. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Terrific. So just keep in mind, on the way back up, once we hit that low G sharp, we're going to play A sharp, B sharp, which is the same as C. So I'm going to go over the fingerings real quick. C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B sharp, same as C, C sharp, D sharp, E natural, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B sharp, same as C, D sharp. Whoops! C sharp on the top. B sharp, C sharp. That's what I meant. And on the way back down, C sharp, B, A, G sharp, F sharp, E, D sharp, C sharp, B, A, G sharp, F sharp, E, D sharp, C sharp, B natural, A, G sharp. And this is when we turn around and go back up with our sharps, A sharp, B sharp, same as C, to C sharp. Terrific. Now, I hope you noticed on the way up and on the way down, something very specific happens when we play these scales with all these sharps in it. B sharp, C sharp, D sharp. We alternate pinkies. That's a good rule. I almost never break that rule, if I can help it, which is only one. Let me say this well. We switch pinkies. You don't use the same pinky twice in a row, if possible not to do so. That's why they've added this extra key on the instrument. Now, I didn't learn to play with that extra key, so I'm not real good at it. But on occasion, I try and get fancy and use it. In any case, on the way back down, same thing. D sharp, C sharp, B. That's really the only, I guess you could play D sharp if you have this fancy key. I never do, because I didn't learn how. D sharp, C sharp, B. So we're alternating our pinky. That's pretty important and can be a little confusing if you're not used to it. Let's get into learning this piece. Good job on the scale. So let's get rid of those and let's take a look at our tempo instructions and our time signature. Our tempo instructions are adagio, molto espressivo. That means slow and very expressive. So we get to have a lot of fun with this. Our tempo specific number instruction is 54 to the dotted quarter note. And that's where we got to talk about our time signature. Maybe some of you are not entirely comfortable or used to playing in 12/8 time. 12/8 time is just twice as many as 6/8 time. We've done them here, but you know, we don't learn them first. We learn 4/4 first. 6/8 and 12/8 are a different animal. Now, let's go over, got my metronome here. I hope you all have metronomes where you are. I'm going to put my metronome at 54. That's what it says. The first thing we need to figure out is how many dotted quarter notes fit in a 12/8 bar. Well, there's 3 eighth notes inside each dotted quarter note. There's 12 eighth notes inside every measure. That gives us 4 dotted quarter notes in every measure. You know, I used to think that I was never going to use the math that I learned, but you know, here it is. Music is math. Music is art, science, English. It's everything all in one, and that's where we're going to use our math here. So there's 12 eighth notes in every measure. There's 3 eighth notes inside every dotted quarter note. Therefore, there are 4 dotted quarter notes in every beat. 4 dotted quarter notes in every measure. Let me say it right. Okay. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can practice. We can practice saying this in 4 beats per measure, which is how it suggests that we count it. And I agree with that, actually. Or we can also, in our head, do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But 12 beats is a lot to keep track of. And what I find to be the most helpful is to do a hybrid, which is dum bum boom bum dum 3 and 4 and 1 and bop 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 bop. So I'm hearing the subdivisions. I'm hearing the eighth notes, but I'm actually counting the bigger beats. I find that to be the best way to go about it. Now, to help with that, I've gone ahead and taken the liberty of writing this out entirely. Let me make that bigger. In eighth notes. So every note is an eighth note, which helps show the subdivision. And I think can be really quite useful. But here's what we're going to do first. We're going to take a look at this one. I'm going to play the first 9 measures. They're great 9 measures. I'm going to start at the beginning. I want everyone to notice we are starting not on beat 1, because this is not a complete measure. That just represents 3 eighth notes. So 3 eighth notes, that's 1 dotted quarter note. That is the last dotted quarter note of that measure. Now this means that's beat 4. So let's check it out. I'm going to play from the beginning to measure 9, just as printed with 4 beats in a measure. Here we go. I'm going to count us off so you can hear how it goes. 1, 2, here's our measure, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3. So there it is in its normal, version. Does your reed ever get spitty? Sometimes mine gets really spitty. And if you don't know, that's how to fix it. At first it seems gross, but that's the only way to fix it. Okay, now I'm going to play that same part, that same amount, all subdivided. But I'm going to count us off exactly in that same way. Start. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So, what I'm trying to illustrate in writing this out and presenting it to you today is that those subdivisions are what we should hear in our ear. And before we forget, I'm just going to play a little bit, starting here. Darn it, that didn't do what I wanted. Let's go back. All right, there we go. I'm just going to play a little bit. I want you to practice hearing those subdivisions even when I don't actually play them, because that's what you should do when you play it for yourself. Practice playing them, but then practice just hearing them. 1, 2, 3. So what I did there is I just added some of them for fun, and that's actually something I do when I practice, is to check in with myself just to make sure I am thinking of all the subdivisions while I play. It's a good sort of self-check thing to do. All right, so now let's take a look at whatever sort of fancy fingerings might be there. We see an L printed here, which is just a reminder that we've got two ways to finger that C sharp, here and here. Either way. This guy or that guy. Choose the left hand, because on most clarinets we're going to need to use the D sharp over here. So C sharp, D sharp. And let's see what else we have. I would also put an L here, well, we're going to have to, because we've got this D sharp there. So that takes care of it. We're going to automatically play C with our right hand, which is the traditional way to play it. The way you should always play it if you have that option. And then in measure 10, well, it's not our first occurrence. I was going to say it's our first occurrence of a B sharp, but it's not. We have it here. So B sharp, let's actually play that. I forgot about that one. Oops, erase. We're going to start here, and we're just going to play to there. So this starts on the second eighth note of the fourth beat. It's not quite as tricky as it sounds. It's pretty wordy to talk about it. So that is beat 11. That's even worse. 1, dun, dun, 2, dun, dun, 3, dun, dun, 4. Boom. That's where we start. So we'll do it now. And let's also take a look at that C sharp when we do it. Excuse me, we'll take a look at that B sharp when we do it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3. Not that big of a deal with that B sharp in there. Feels pretty good. Let's look at this chunk here. That's an official word. That's a musical word, chunk. No, it's not. Okay, so we've got B sharp, and then our accidental rule means that every B in this measure is a B sharp. So we've got one here, we've got one here, and we've got one here. So they are also, David Hite, is suggesting the right hand here for the B sharp, which, quite honestly, I don't think needs to be marked, because that's the way you should be playing it anyway. The left hand C over here is an alternate fingering. It's only if the other one doesn't work out. So that R is a little bit unnecessary. We're going to play the pickups to measure 10. 1, 2, 3. One more time, that same thing. 1, 2, 3. Good, moving on. We've got something that maybe not everybody has seen. This, a note with an X in front of it. An X means double sharp. That means sharp it, raise it a half step, and then raise it another half step. So we're raising it 2 half steps, a whole step. That's what it is. So in this particular instance, we've got G sharp, F double sharp, which is G, and then back to G sharp. Why don't they just write a G natural in there? And let me tell you why. They don't do it because then it would look like 4 notes that are the same note to our eye. Our eye would see no motion there. They want it actually to dip down. And I think that that's a really good idea. So we're going to play G sharp, F double sharp, same as G, back to G sharp. And then I just want to call everyone's attention to this D natural, because our accidental rule means that this one is a D natural. It's easy to miss that one. I do that a lot. That's one of my most frequent accidental misses, is when it's on the first note of the measure and the last note of the measure. I find that to be sometimes an insurmountable challenge. But not today. Then we are going to play C sharp, B natural, C sharp, right there. We're going to look at this rubato. That means give and take. So we go a little bit faster, then we go a little bit slower. A little bit faster, a little bit slower. It's the molto espressivo idea that is built right into this. So don't hesitate to make some fun happen. Then we've got a ritardando down here. We've got another B natural there, and a nice diminuendo down. Let me circle it since I love circling stuff. There, a nice diminuendo down to piano. Great. So we're going to play that chunk right now. So we're going to go all this, the F double sharp from here, and I'm going to play to there. Here we go. I'll count this off. Yeah, and I'm not going to put the metronome on again, because we do have this rubato and a ritardando. That'll mess up my mojo when I'm trying to do that if I've got the metronome on. Here we go. So this starts on the 3rd eighth note of beat 3. It's the pickups, or anacrusis, if you will, to beat 4. Let's do it. Here we go. 1, 2. Oh, did you hear that? It wasn't on purpose? I messed up that that accidental. Pardon me. Maybe I was just showing everybody that. Maybe not. I don't know. It's hard to tell sometimes. This time I'm going to play a D natural there. Here we go. 1, 2. That was a little bit better. Okay, so when we look at this, I want to point out a couple things. Just real quick, I'm going to play it one more time. I'm going to play it till the end. I want to show you a few things in here, and that will merit me playing it again and once again proving that I know that is a D natural. All right, so this crescendo, it's not printed out. The way crescendos and diminuendos work is the loudest note of this phrase is right here, where the diminuendo starts. Remember, the best way to play a diminuendo is to start loud and then get soft. We all tend to see a diminuendo coming and we give it away too early. Don't give it away too early. Play all the way to that B sharp, and then make your ritardando, then make your diminuendo. That's the right time to do it. Now we also have this a tempo, which means go back to the tempo that you started with. prior to the ritardando. That's what that tells us, and it also tells us very correctly to play C sharp with our right pinky, because we're going to go up to G sharp, which has this fingering and one that really sucks, so we can't use it. It's more of a trill fingering and whatever. We're not even going to talk about it. So C sharp to G sharp, then our friend F double sharp again, G, and then we see something a little bit crazy, which is F sharp, an F natural sharp, F. That's just a kind of clunky way of canceling out, unnecessarily, might I add, the F double sharp. I mean, the accidental's canceled after the bar line, so I don't know why editorially they decided to make that choice, but anyway, it is just an F sharp. An F sharp in parenthesis would be enough, or actually you could just write nothing on that note. It would still be an F sharp. And then we've got the same thing one octave lower, our F double sharp, and then our clunky cancellation of that accidental, our clunky and unnecessary cancellation of that accidental. So that is just a plain old F sharp. And then it gets quiet here. Pianissimo, and then, whoops, that word there, morendo, which means dying away. Dying away is something that we can do with our dynamics and our tempo. That's part of the molto espressivo nature of this particular piece. That's so wonderful. All right, so how about this? How about just this one final fun exercise? We'll play that same bit. I'm going to play this note right, I promise. And we're going to do lots of rubato. And actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to subdivide during that rubato so you can hear what's going on in my head. Because that rubato happens not just in the eighth notes. It has to happen the way we're thinking about the other notes. Well, I'm going to do a nice a tempo. I'm going to play those right notes. I'm going to do a nice morendo at the end. And there you have it. I hope I do okay. Pickups to measure 14. 1, 2, 3. It can be challenging to get your clarinet to work playing it that quietly. My sound may have gotten a little bit fuzzy there at the end. It's hard to tell. I've got myself mic'd closely. Anyway, enough about me. There you have it. We've got Etude number 10 pretty much wired. So there's some things to do. It's a very nice musical etude. I hope you liked it. I hope this was helpful to you. If you're watching this and you felt like it was valuable, as we do on YouTube, would you smash that like button? Subscribe if you want. I'd love it if you did. We're doing lots of fun stuff here. We're going over lots of music. We're playing some clarinet. We're playing some saxophone. We're doing all sorts of good things. Come on over to woodwindninja.com. Love to see you there. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Mr. Hite, for putting these etudes together. We had a good time. See you next time on Woodwind Ninja.